Ladies and gentlemen, please note this is the first cricket show on the planet to feature a master hairstylist masquerading as a pretty good cricket expert. I'll tell you how in just a bit, right here on T20 Crazy on SportsAdda, powered by SportsBet.io. The things that a bio bubble makes people do. You know, Brett Lee had gone on a long walk at the end of last week's episode, remember? And thank heavens he's back now. But guess what he's been doing all this while? He's been busy giving free haircuts to his broadcasting mates. We have video evidence of it, but you've got to wait for it. That video is coming up a little later in the show. Binga, is it a parallel profession that you're looking at?
Well, when they told me to play my cut shot, I thought they were talking about hairdressing.
We'll try and get a reaction from Scott Stitis to check how good a job you've done. But Bingham, haircuts demand deft wrist work, much like quality swing bowling. And Deepak Chahar showed us how, helping Chennai get off the mark. 4 for 13 against Punjab got Mayank, Gale, Huda and Puran. It got Ravi Shastri tweeting heaps of praise on Chahar's Arsenal. He also broke Kolkata's back with 4 for 29. Binga, in your opinion, what makes Chahar such a quality bowler, and how do you describe what he did in the 2 games that I mentioned?
Look, I'll back up what Ravi Shastri said. It was an absolute brilliant piece of bowling, fast bowling at its best. You know, when you talk about Deepak Chahar, it's not express pace, you know, over that 145k bracket, but it doesn't have to be, because he's got that shape, he's got that swing, he's got the length. And Deepak Chahar had the ball, what we used to call on a string. So he had it coming out of the hand beautifully. The seam position was impeccable. You know, his length was amazing, and he just got the ball to nibble a little bit. So when the ball nibbles off the seam, when you pitch it up in that correct zone, you're destined to take wickets. Forfer, I mean, it breaks the backbone of any team that he's playing against.
That's right. Now, the name Deepak means a lamp. It's a source of light. And one man who lights up the league with his majestic 6 hitting, Rohit Sharma, now has the most number of sixes for an Indian in the history of the league with, guess what, 221 sixes and counting. Binga, this man makes shot making look so pretty, so easy, so effortless, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's one of my favourite guys to watch because of the reason he can clear that boundary with ease. You know, he's technically sound, he's got a beautiful front arm, hits the ball along the ground, but when he chooses on purpose to go over the infield, you know, he makes what normal people would look as though a tough, hard slog into a perfectly executed plan, and he hits over the infield, he chips it, it goes for 6. He's got amazing bats for a start, I think, but his timing is impeccable. And Rohit Sharma is such a great guy to watch because of the reason he can clear that boundary.
Yes, they call him hit machine. He's also 6 machine, and it's always showtime when Rohit Sharma takes strike, and so it is when the big show, Glenn Maxwell, is in his elements. So far, Binga, in the tournament, 3 matches, 176 runs, striker to 154, 17 fours, 8 sixes. Now, he seems to be enjoying being with Bangalore. Isn't Maxwell more dangerous when he is happier, calmer, and more settled mentally?
Well, you know what I think it is? I'll try to work out why Maxwell has been successful in this franchise, because nothing changed with his technique. He might be a little bit more closed off than what he was last year in terms of his front foot and his hips position. You know, now facing more in alignment in terms of the, you know, facing towards the umpire. But I think it's because Maxwell's thriving in an environment where he's not counted to have to be the big show. He's still the big show, but he's also in an environment now. He's got Kohli, he's got ABD. So I think all the pressure is off Maxwell now, where normally he goes to a franchise, he's the main man. He's the guy that's got to score runs. He's the guy that's got to step up. When you throw in Virat Kohli, ABD, as I mentioned, they're the guys that are got all the pressure on there. You know, the guys that got the spotlight on them. Maxwell can come in under the radar, bat with someone like a Kohli, and play his natural game. So I think he's relishing in the fact that he's in an environment that allows him to express himself as an athlete.
Add one more name to that list, Devdutt Padikkal, who hit his maiden 100 in the league, laced with some exquisite shots against Rajasthan. You know, and someone on Twitter has gone back in time to pull out a very interesting stat. Exactly 10 years ago, also on the 22nd of April, Chris Gayle scored his maiden 100 against Kolkata. Now, him and Virat Kohli remained not out. RCB won, and the same thing happened last night as well. 100 for Devdutt Padikkal, batting alongside Kohli. Both of them remained not out. RCB won. Mr. Lee, what do you make of this? Is history repeating itself?
Well, I mean, he's a different player to Chris Gayle. Yes, they're both left-handed players, but they're a different style. You know, Gale's more of a bludgeon. hit sixes. That Padikkal he's got that deft touch. He's got beautiful timing. I said before we went on air, and I said in our pre-show of the match, that I said that he's my man for man of the match tonight. He's the guy that I want to pick. Up until that innings where he batted, he only had 36 runs on the board in 2 innings, but it was a good 36. Like, he looked as though he was in good form. You go back to last season, he scored 473 runs. So his track record's good, and I knew that he'd come good at some stage. I was hoping to be on that occasion that we saw last game, which he did. I haven't seen a guy bat that well at the age of 20 ever, I reckon. I mean, that was incredible. Sunil Gavaskar said that, this is a guy that will play all 3 formats of the game for India. So that's a big rap coming from such a legend of a cricketer and Sunil Gavaskar. But yeah, he was absolutely brilliant last night.
Yes, it was also the fastest 100 for any uncapped player in the history of the tournament. 101 not out of 52, 11 fours and 6 sixes. But as I said, is history repeating itself? I don't think Bangalore fans will want to, because guess what? Bangalore lost to Chennai in the finals in 2011. I don't think they want to repeat of that bit of history. Now, on to someone who perhaps seems to be slightly lost. A batsman of KL Rahul's quality and pedigree has scored runs. But what's getting people talking is his strike rate. Now, in the 3 matches he's played against Delhi, Chennai and Rajasthan, all 3 innings he has a 50, but the strike rate, Binga, is less than 127. Now, why is this happening? Is it about wanting to bat through? Is it the pressure of captaincy? Is there need to worry? What does KL Rahul need to do?
Well, see, KL Rahul can score quickly. I think back maybe 3 or 4 years ago, I'm trying to remember the stat here, but he got 50 off about 14 balls, I think it was, up at Mohali. So there's no reason why he can't score quickly. He's got the technique to do it. He's got the right mindset. I think it may be because he's obviously counting on himself to try and bat through the whole innings. He's probably been the guy to put his hand up and said, I need to bat deep. I need to get through to the 14th, 15th over, set the platform to give my team the best opportunity, then to leverage off the hard work I've done at the top of the order. But also, too, you can't soak up too many balls. He's a much better player than what the stats show this season so far. He's always there and thereabouts in the orange cap holder, so I'm not concerned about KL Rahul, because class is permanent. Maybe form might be temporary.
Right then, let's now race ahead on T20 Crazy with one of our more popular segments. It's called Masala Mix. Remember, I told you at the top of the show how Brett Lee has been on hair cutting duty in the bio bubble. For the cynics who don't believe me, here, take a look at this. He's Binga the barber. Wow, you're a bit of an expert there, Mr. Lee. Now, this is pretty good stuff. Anything that adds a bit of Bonhomian friendship between an Aussie and a Kiwi, isn't it?
Cut it out. Cut it out.
What would your...
We'll show some Kiwis some love, in this bio bubble. Now, look, Scotty came to me and said, listen, I've got a weird shaped sort of head. Can you look after me? Can you give me some, some treatment around the back of the head type of thing? I said, step into my office, which I did, and I gave him a haircut. So then he liked it. He was happy. Hopefully I did a good job. And then Swanee then lined up as well. So Graham Swan has also been my second, participant. I did joke around on social media and said that Brian Lara was my third with a shaved head.
Sir, can I book an appointment for 2 p.m. tomorrow, please?
Of course, lock it in. Done.
I'll be there with a 20% family discount.
I'll give you 25.
Such a kind man. One more question for you. Who's the one cricketer on this planet who needs to visit you for a haircut? Anyone?
A haircut. Probably the guys that are rocking the sort of long hair with a headband. Maybe a Kane Richardson. He's got the long hair going at the moment. Maybe we can do something with that. But it looks pretty cool. It suits him. So I don't know. I've only got one style. I need to know how to. I used to cut my family's hair when I was growing up. So I did my younger brother's hair when he went to his year 12 form, and that's where it started. So then I started cutting my dad's hair.
Brett Lee is officially an all-rounder. Okay, it's proven now. Don't you ever question that. But Bega, talking of style and superstardom, Bangalore is not short of it. And one of the Avengers in that side could well make a comeback for his country. And why shouldn't he? AB de Villiers. Binga, here's what Mr. 360 Degrees said recently. how about a public interest litigation to get AB de Villiers back playing for his country? This is a quote that excited every cricket fan on the planet. Shouldn't he come back?
Look, I think it depends on ABD, depending on what he wants to do. He's not, old or antique in terms of, what you have to be for a cricketer. He's not past his best. He's shown that he's still got the goods to perform at the top level. So, yeah, why not? I mean, if he wants to, if there's a desire there, if they believe that he'll make a contribution to his national side, well, then get him in. But look, he's an incredible player. He's Mr. 360. I did a stat on air the other evening that when most batsmen face a Yorker at the death, on average, over the last 13 years, the Yorker's gone for 1 run per ball. So, a strike rate of 100. ABD's strike rate in the Yorker length is 183. So it's almost twice as good as any other batsman batting at the death. And, he's just such an incredible player.
Yes, I think he needs to feature in a Christopher Nolan film. He defies physics. Is he even real? I think they need to check his DNA. But, social media will be buzzing if and when he announces his comeback for South Africa for the T20 World Cup, which is going to happen later this year. Now, there's one man in world cricket who, even if you can't dismiss, merely keeping him quiet in this format in itself is a big victory. And that is what is evident in this players' battle coming up in week 3 of the league. It's Bumrah versus Gale, and on this Chennai pitch, how tough will it be for the universe boss to hit those big ones against Bumrah at the top?
Well, the thing about when you talk about someone like Chris Gale, who loves to, hit off length, I think a lot of bowlers these days are trying to work out the best way to get Chris Gale. And you've either got to bowl that Yorker at his back heel, which is his left heel, or you've got to get the ball nice and tight around this front shoulder, this right shoulder, and maybe try to get a top edge as he goes to play the hook shot. So I think about a guy that can bowl express pace. He's got a great bouncer and also a great Yorker, and you come up with the name Jasprit Bumrah. So I think it's a great matchup. I think it's a really, really good matchup between these two, because there's no other guy in world cricket that bowls a better Yorker than Jasprit Bumrah.
That's right, nose and toes, as the great Shoaib Akhtar once said.
That's it.
Right, another riveting player battle to look ahead to is when Delhi take on Hyderabad in Chennai on the 25th of April. It is David Warner versus Kagiso Rabada, two absolute gun players, make for a classic battle. Now, Warner will be eager to score big runs, while Rabada, who's been quite expensive by his standards so far this season with an economy rate of almost 9. What do you make of this battle?
Look, David Warner wants to have a great IPL 2021. He wants to make sure that he starts off and helps his franchise out. When you look at who he's up against, someone like a Kagiso Rabada, I don't believe that the Delhi Capitals have bowled Rabada in the right place. They've changed him around. They've put him in, bowling at the 6th or 7th over. Now, I know that he gets about, I think it's about 65% of his wickets at the death, because he bowls about 70% of his overs at the death, which is the reason why he's been successful. But like we've seen with someone like a Jofra Archer, when you got real good pace, when you hit good areas, and when you're such a great athlete, Kagiso Rabada should bowl 1 over in the power play at least. Give him the new ball. Don't come in the sort of 5th or 6th over when the ball's, scuffed up. It's not swinging. It's a bit softer. So what I'm trying to say is that I don't believe that he's had the right rub of the green. He hasn't had the team behind him in order to produce the best results, which I believe is the reason why his economy's been quite high.
Yes, and once Rabada fires, Delhi will look even more dangerous. Right, now that we're done with player battles, how about we take a stock of what's happening in that battle between Brett Lee and Brett Lee. It's time for Binger's Notebook. Take a bow, Mr. Lee, take a bow. You have come back, and how you got 4 out of 5 predictions right from last week. Well done. How did you manage that? Here's your report card for last week.
Manish, I told you, it's going to take some time to get into the season. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon. The IPL, you've got to set yourself, you've got to pace yourself. But I had a good feeling for this week, and I've got an even good feeling for this week coming up as well.
You are back on the hot seat as we get you to make a few more predictions for the games coming up this week. Let's take a look at the games we are looking ahead to in week 3 of the league. 9 matches coming up. Which of these seems like the most exciting of the lot for you? Lots and lots of options to choose from.
Yeah, look, there is. I do want to see how Punjab take on Mumbai on the 23rd. I'm also looking Delhi versus Bangalore. I think that's going to be a very good game as well on the 27th. But look, you can look at every single match there and go, every match is as important as the next. Rajasthan, I mean, they need to find a way to fire. They're lacking that power at the, in terms of their bowlers. They've got Chris Morris, but other than that, they don't really have any pace. Chennai versus Hyderabad is going to be a good one as well when you think about Dhoni versus Warner. I mean, they're all very, very important. It's a big week. Week 3 for me is where you start to see teams find some form, find some rhythm, but most importantly, find their right combinations. This is the time now when, as a captain, as an owner of the franchise, as a CEO of the franchise, they should know pretty much what their best 12 or 13 are. Not 18. The first 2 weeks, it's like throwing all these different names in a hat, pulling out who they believe is the right combination. They should be understanding their combinations by now, pending fitness, of course.
Right, time now for some more specific predictions. Pay attention to these answers from Brett Lee. Let's start with an easy one for you. The big one, Friday night clash, Punjab versus the champions Mumbai in Chennai. There's Bumrah, bowled Chahar for Mumbai. There's Shami, Arshdeep, Moises Henriquez and Murugan Ashwin for Punjab. Pick one side which will have the best bowler. The best bowler will be from which side?
I think Mumbai. I think because Punjab Kings, who I've always a soft place in my heart for, they've just struggled recently. They've had a couple of back-to-back losses. The 2 Australian bowlers have gone out of the team. They're trying some new combinations. Mumbai looks settled, so for me, it's Mumbai.
Right, on to Rajasthan now, who have won just one game. They've lost 3. They will take on Kolkata on the 24th of April, which happens to be the great Sachin Tendulkar's birthday. This game will be played at the Wankhede, where we saw a run fest between Chennai and Kolkata. Rajasthan have Sanju Samson, Butler, Miller, Tewatia. Kolkata, well, just one name is enough. Andre Russell. Which team will hit the most sixes?
Kolkata, hands down. I mean, Andre Russ, Pat Cummins, the way that they batted the other evening, they were 5 for 30. They fought their way back, chasing 221 to win, and they nearly got there. And it was a great performance from the second half of the team that came into bat. No one gave them a chance. So Kolkata, of course, they'll hit more sixes than Rajasthan Royals.
Moving on, in the Southern Derby on the 25th of April, Chennai play Bangalore, who are the only unbeaten team so far in the tournament. Now, this game will be played in Mumbai. Predict a winner, Mr. Lee.
Yeah, well, look, it's going to be a tough game, that match 19 in Mumbai, because you think about Chennai and they've played most of their games down at Chennai. But I'm going to go with RCB. I think their form, I think that they've won 4 on the trot. They've got that momentum. They're going to be too strong for Chennai, in my opinion.
The second game on that day will be Hyderabad versus Delhi in Chennai. Now, Hyderabad, who haven't really set the stage on fire with the bat, will be up against Delhi, who have a fair bit of bowling variety. Who will be the top scorer for Hyderabad in this game?
Well, me, it's going to be Team Orange, and it's going to be David Warner. I think David Warner's due. He has found a little bit of form. He's looking very, very fit. He looks hungry. And when David Warner looks hungry for runs, that's when I lock him in. So I'm locking David Warner for a big 50 plus.
And finally, KL Rahul's Punjab will take on Kolkata in Ahmedabad. In his first 4 games, he scored 40, 10, 11 and 15. Will Chris Gayle score a 50 against Kolkata?
Yeah, look, I think like David Warner, you can't keep champions down too long. And Chris Gayle is definitely a champion. The universe boss, yes, he'll score a 50. And it'll be exciting.
Brett Lee has been very emphatic with his answers. Let's make sure he is super sure. Binga, do you want to look at these answers again, maybe change a thing or two, or are you sure of these answers?
Not a chance. Let's lock them in. So, Mumbai, KKR, RCB, David Warner, and yes to Chris Gayle to score 50 plus in that game on the 26th. I'm happy with my predictions this week.
Okay then, it's time to move on T20 Crazy to a segment where we get you, our viewers, to shoot questions at Brett Lee at 100 miles per hour. Time to bring on Ask Binga. Get ready, Mr. Lee. No easy questions coming your way. The first one comes to you from Saloni. This one's a question on Rashid Khan. Here we go.
Hi Brett, I'm Saloni from Mumbai. My question for you was that if Rashid Khan was to play in your time against batsmen like Sachin, Ponting, in Zaman, do you think he would have been as successful as he is today?
Good question, Sonali. Thank you so much. Yes, I do believe he would, because Rashid Khan is Rashid Khan. You know, doesn't matter what era he played in, whether he played in the 70s, whether he played in my era throughout 90s and 2000s onwards. Yes, I do believe he would have that same type of form and success against batsmen of great quality, because he's a quality spinner. Anyone that spins the ball both ways is destined to have success.
Question 2 on our Spinger comes to us from Shravan. Let's take a look.
Hey Brett, my name is Shravan Sahni and I'm from Delhi. My question to you is that looking at the current points table, do you think maybe a different team, a new team can prove out to be the champions this year? Thank you.
Thank you, Shravan. Nice to meet you. Yes, I do believe that a new team could take home the IPL trophy this year, and it's the team that's won 4 from 4. I mean, Captain Kohli. I mean, what a great story that would be for Indian cricket, for RCB, under the guidance of Simon Kadich, the Australian. Maxwell's in, Kohli's doing well, ABD's doing well. Is this the year? I do believe this will be the year. I mean, it's all destined to be RCB if they can hold on.
4 and 4 for RCB, long way to go in the tournament, but we've got one more question coming up on our Spinger.
Hi Brett, my name is Siddesh and I'm from Patna. My question to you is, out of all the IPL team winners in the history, which particular team do you think was the best?
Hey Sid, good question as well, because I've had the pleasure to watch all the teams lift the trophy, and when I say all the teams, all the winning teams to lift the trophy, and yeah, we've seen Sunrisers lift it a few times, we've seen Mumbai lift it more than any other team, and the reason why I'm going to choose Mumbai is because of their complete package. When you say about Mumbai, why are they different to any other team? I believe it's the combinations that they use. They understand the game of T20 cricket. They've got roles for specific parts of the game. Their opening combination, their powerhouse through the middle order, how they then can hit the big sixes at the end, so the big total. They've got great bowlers, got good spinners, they're good in the field. They are the complete package, which is the reason why they've been the most successful.
Emphatic as ever, Brett Lee has chosen the Mumbai Indians. That's the blue chip side, but guess what? It's now time for that moment when Brett Lee does this. The Pucci comes out. It's time for the end game on T20 Crazy. Here we go. This is a segment where our expert comes up with the questions, not for me, but for you guys, the viewers. And up first, let's take a look at what the question was last week, what the answer is, and who the winner was. Here we go. The question was, against which team did I register the record to become the fastest to 350 ODI wickets? The answer was Sri Lanka, and the winner is Mr. Lee.
It's Ritwakar Da, so congratulations. And it was Kulasekara who I got out. So look, that's a very good answer. Hopefully there wasn't too much Google used. Hopefully it was the brain power, but congratulations on being the winner.
And of course, a pack of Brett Lee's autograph merchandise will reach you very soon, Ritvika. But here's another chance for all who missed out in the last couple of weeks. Here's one more question. Brett, what do you have for us this time?
My question goes back right to 1999, my first test match against India, Boxing Day test, 1999. Who was my first test wicket?
Now, let me make it easy for you guys. Let me give you a very interesting cue. This player played a lead role in a film called Potta Potti in the year 2011. I wonder if that makes life easy for you, or does that confuse you more? But think about that. Go Google away. Send us your answers. Leave your answers in the comment section. And it's time for us to say goodbye. But I'm going to leave you with something Sir Jadeja taught us. After he took 4 wickets, 4 catches against Rajasthan, this is what he did. What I'm trying to tell you is we'll see you in episode 4 of T20 Crazy on SportsAdda, powered by sportsbet.io. Mr. Lee, let's do this. Let's say bye-bye.
It's week 3, about to be week 4 coming up, episode 4. See you soon. Thank you very much.